welcome to A+CAD. We are going to be building a steel plate with the program today. The first thing we always want to do when we start a new drawing in A+CAD is to get our screen prepared for the drawing. We're going to set it up turning on our snap, so we double click on snap and then we double click on grid. If you want to check the settings for both snap and grid, you can right click and go to settings. We want to make sure they're both set to 0.5, which they both are. You're ready to go with that. The drawing area is pretty small, so we need to make sure that it gets a little closer so it's easier for us to draw on. I'm going to come over to this control panel over here, and you have your Zoom Extends button. That's going to help you see things a little bit better because when you click on it, it's going to bring everything in your drawing front and center. Our drawing screen's now ready for us to begin the drawing, but we have to do one more thing to set up. We're going to come over here to our Explore Layers, and we're going to add a couple of layers. We're going to right-click, New Layer, and we're going to name this layer Part, and hit Enter. Right-click, New Layer, and you're going to name this one Dim. It's short for Dimension. And we have one more layer, New Layer one more time, and you're going to name this one Hatch. And hatch is what we're going to use to create the pattern that represents steel on the steel plate. So now what we want to do is double click on the colors and we want to color each layer. We want to make sure we choose some vibrant colors so that way that they're visible and they don't blend in. One nice rule of thumb to go by is to never choose yellow because yellow doesn't print very well. The last thing we need to do before we begin drawing is to actually select the layer we want to begin drawing on, which is the part layer. So we're going to double click on that, and you'll see the check mark pops up next to the word part. That means we're currently on that layer. We're ready to begin. You can hit your X, and now we're going to come up to our toolbar. So you're going to find your Draw toolbar, and you're looking for your Line tool. I'm going to select the Line tool, and I'm going to come over here on the left-hand side of the screen and drag up. Now our measurement for this line is going to be 3.5. So I'm going to type in 3.5 and hit Enter. The nice thing about this is you don't have to specify an area to type. The program automatically knows that you're trying to communicate with it and you're giving it some information, so it puts it right where it belongs. For the top line, that's going to be a 5-point measurement. So I can drag this all the way over to the end of the grid lines, and if I type in 5, Enter, it's still going to lock it in at the 5 mark. Now I can drag it down, and I'm going to type in 3.5, so it matches up with the other side. And now I can drag this over towards my start point, but I'm going to type in the letters C and L, it's short for close, and that will close off that shape. We're now ready to round our corners. In order to round our corners, we're going to use our fillet button. I'm going to click the fillet button, and we're going to check our fillet settings. You always need to check your fillet settings because right now they're set to 0, which wouldn't do anything to that 90-degree corner. It would keep it the same. So we need to change it to 0.5, and then you can hit OK. And this is where it starts to get fun. You can click on that left line and click on that right or the top line, and you'll see that that corner now rounds itself. We're going to have to repeat this same process another 3 times for the additional 3 corners. So the shortcut we have is to hit the space bar. I'm going to hit the space bar, and you'll see that the function pops up again. I can click the top and the right, space bar yet again, right and bottom, and spacebar one last time, bottom and side. And now we have our nice rounded rectangle. The next step is to add our circles. So I'm going to draw a few circles. I come up to my toolbar, click the circle button. I'm going to count over 2 grid points, down 1 grid point, click and start to drag it out. And again, I can type in the measurement that I want. I want this to have a radius of 0.5, so I'm going to type in 0.5 and hit Enter. And I can use that shortcut key again. So I'm going to hit my space bar, and I'm going to count over 2, up 1, click, drag out, type in 0.5, hit enter, and now we have 2 circles. We need 4 circles, but we really don't want to draw all 4 of them because it's kind of time consuming, and they're going to be placed in exactly the same spot, just on the opposite side. So we're going to use what's called a mirror tool. We're going to actually mirror these 2 circles. We come up to the top, we find our mirror tool, and the first thing we have to do is let the program know what we would like to mirror. It's asking us select entities to mirror. Well, we want to mirror this circle and this circle. And when you're done selecting the entities that you would like to mirror, you can hit your enter key and let the program know you're done selecting. And now it's asking us for the start of the mirror line. So we need to find the center of our shape, click, and then drag down, and click again to end it. Do we want to delete the original entities? We're going to type in the letter N for no, and enter. And now we have our 4 circles completed. The next step is to change the layer to hatch, because at this point we're going to insert the pattern that represents steel. So we're going to go to the hatch, and then we're going to find the boundary hatch button. So that should be over here. Oh, they hit it up here. We're going to click on the boundary hatch button, and we're going to hit select area. Now first, you should always make sure your pattern is correct. We're going to be using ANSI 31, which was already set. So if you needed another pattern, you could come into this area and select the pattern, and there's tons of patterns that represent all different kinds of materials. You have asphalt, you have diamond, you have glass, screen, shingles, lots and lots and lots of patterns. So we're looking for ANSI 31. I'm going to go back to boundary. I'm going to go to select area. And anywhere inside of the rounded rectangle that we now have, you can click. And you'll see all these little white dots pop up. It's not quite done yet, but we're almost there. So once that pops up, you can hit enter to end it. You'll see this box come up again, and you can hit OK. And now you have the pattern that represents steel. And now at this point, you're ready to add your last piece, which is the dimensioning. So we're going to change our layers to dimension. We can then go to click on linear, and we're going to click from the left line all the way over to the right. Click one more time, drag that up. You can use that shortcut key one last time. So I'm going to hit my space bar. I can come from the top line, drag all the way down to the bottom line, click one last time, and drag out that measurement. Now we want to add the measurement for one of the circles as well. We want the dimension of this circle. I'm going to come back up to my dimensioning toolbar, and I'm going to select the circle that represents the radius. Now this has a drop down with 3 different options. So I'm going to select my radius circle. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so I know I'm selecting that circle line, because you want to be right on the line of the circle. Click that and then zoom out a little bit, and then I will drag this up to the top. And there you have it. We have dimensioned our steel plate, we have added the pattern that represents steel, and we have created our first project in A+CAD.